Okay, we're back. All right. I'm sorry about that technical difficulties, but now we are good. So, Miss Franklin, it's so good to have you with us tonight, and I'm interested to hear all the information you want to share with us about the guide program, and to give us the more details about how we can be helped with dementia, those who have it, the caregivers that are associated. We see a lot of that in physical therapy, but I know you see a lot of it in the community as well. So, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
excited to be here and talk about this wonderful opportunity for those who need the help. So, Guide started this year in June, and it's running for a total of 8 years. So this is not quite the first, 1 year, but 8 years.
Okay.
This program is geared towards those with dementia and for caregiver burnout. So many times we have family members or very close loved ones that are forced to take care of um, their loved one, their family member, and they have in home care, um, and their funds may be limited. So they can afford maybe 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening,
Right.
but they can't afford anything in between. So Medicare came out with this guide program. And what this is designed to do is to assist with respite services. So the total is $2,563 a year. And the caregiver can utilize this money to receive additional in home care while they are able to go away and do self help. And so that is what the program is designed to do.
That's awesome. A lot of times we think Medicare funds don't cover caregiver support, or they don't cover having in home care for people who have dementia. But this program, can you talk to us a little bit about the requirements that are necessary?
Absolutely. So the individual must have a dementia diagnosis. Okay. So you have to have that. You have to be a Medicare recipient Part A and B. Okay. So you can't have all of the additional ones, right? The
Right.
advantage programs. And then you cannot reside in a long term nursing home, and nor can you be in hospice. So this can be for someone that is in your home, someone that is in assisted living as well. So it does satisfy those requirements. Individuals cannot be enrolled in the PACE program. PACE is, becoming more and more widely known in this DMV area.
For
And
people who don't know, what's PACE?
PACE is a program that allows it's like an adult day center, and it's a one-stop hub. And you go there, and it's typically for those who are low income.
Okay.
You can go there and you can get medical resources. They have their own doctors that come in. They can administer medication. It's a full blown program for seniors. My grandmother was a part of the PACE program over 30 years ago, so I love it. I love it. I think it's a good program.
Okay.
So that is a program that you cannot be involved in when you're doing the guide program.
Mhm.
Every month, once you're signed up and you are allowed, so the process is you would have a pre-eligibility, and once that screening shows that you are pre-eligible, then I will come out to your home, or someone will come out to your home and do an assessment. The assessment is for one, for the caregiver to determine how what type of burnout, what phase and stage that burnout is for that individual. And
Mhm.
then we do the assessment on the patient themselves.
Okay.
Once that is assessed, we gather all the information, I send it off, and then we wait. And then once we get, um, you know, a positive, yeah, they're in, they award the 2563. They will allow you to use whatever in-home service that you already have, if that's what you deem, or they can align you with a different in-home care company.
So do you get all the money up front?
No. So the
No.
money is paid in intervals, of course, only when you are using the service. So, and it's not cash money in hand. So the program is designed to control, right? So those invoices are submitted to Medicare, and then they pay the company themselves.
Okay. Okay. So if this person, you said pay the company themselves. So if the person wants to use it as a caregiver, can they do that and be invoiced directly?
So that process I'm not very familiar with. So
Okay.
that goes into whether or not you're licensed and so on and so forth. If that is the case, we can turn it over to the guide program and then they can make a determination.
Got it.
Currently, I do have someone that is working with the guide program to become one of their vendors so that they can continue to care for someone that they were caring for prior to the program being introduced.
Hmm. Okay. Sounds good. If you are listening and you have any questions or comments that you want to ask, please put them in the chat and then we will answer them. Okay, so you talked to us a little bit about the guide program, but talk to us a little bit about Care Patrol.
Care Patrol is what I do. That is what I love. And what I do is I'm a senior care advisor and I do everything senior, right? So I help families navigate the most challenging times of locating assisted living, independent living, in home care resources for their loved ones. Oftentimes, families don't know which direction to turn. So they typically will start out with social services. Social services will give them a list, and then they're lost and they don't know what to do. If you go to carepatrol.com and you enter the zip code for wherever you want your loved one to be, then someone will come up in that area, and then you will be connected with that person to start looking for placement for your loved one.
Okay, so go to carepatrol.com. You
Yes.
put in their zip code, and you service which areas?
I service Washington, D.C., Arlington, all the way over to Southern Maryland, which goes down to California. So my territory actually starts from Triangle, Quantico. It goes up through Woodbridge, Arlington, Washington, D.C. I have District Heights, PG County, and then it goes all the way down to California, Maryland.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay, so back to the guide program. Tell us why you got into the guide program or what made you interested in it.
Well, I know that there's a disparity, right, across the board, no matter who you are. There's so many families that are faced with the challenge of receiving some type of help and they don't have the resources. For
Right.
me, it's an added benefit to be able to offer an additional service outside of what I do all the time, which is caring for people and making sure people are safe. So this allows me to offer this additional benefit, and then to make sure that there is minimal caregiver burnout, and that the patient is being taken care of.
That's awesome. I think it's really important that people know about the resources that are out here. I didn't know about it until you told me about it, and that was pretty recent. So, most of us, we notice that our loved one has dementia and we try to find the resources that are available, but we don't know what we can tap into in our own possible insurance. Open enrollment is coming up in November. So those of you who are interested in this program and possibly have an Advantage program, maybe this will be something that makes you interested in getting traditional Medicare because you have to have traditional Medicare in order to be a recipient, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then tell us, there are different types of dementia. Is there a specific one that we have to have in order to be approved for the program?
So it has to be moderate to severe. You cannot have mild dementia. There are phases. So it has to be moderate to severe dementia.
Okay. And if a person doesn't know like which stage, they can still have the assessment, and the assessment will let them know. Is that right?
Yes. So by all means, still apply and have the assessment done. And then based upon the information that's gathered, we will find out yes or no.
Okay.
Even if it is a no, you're not counted out, right? You don't get awarded the 2563, and that's $2,563. Let me just make sure I say that. You're not awarded that. However, you are awarded telehealth, in case you can't get with your primary physician immediately, you can
Mhm.
still have access to that benefit. And then you also have someone that will call and check up on you on a monthly basis because as we know, dementia, progresses.
Right.
So you have someone that will always be there to check on you and to make sure how you're doing. And then from there, um, when the time comes, then you can reapply after the assessment shows that you've moved into the moderate phase of dementia.
Got it. Okay, so you have to reapply every year.
Yes, you do have to apply every single year.
Okay. And then we have a question from Brandon that says, "No, I'm sorry. Is this a free program?"
Yes, you do not have to pay for it. Brandon, actually, you are paid to be in a program, right? So it is definitely money that Medicare is giving out to families that have dementia and that has a caregiver that needs some self care.
Got it. And then he has a follow-up question: Can the person have Alzheimer's instead?
Well, what we know is that Alzheimer's is the beginning of dementia. So dementia is a form of Alzheimer's, right? So um, as long as you have a dementia diagnosis, all right. So you have to have a dementia diagnosis. So if you have a loved one, have them to have a cognitive screening done, and then get a letter, and then we can go from there.
Got it. Okay. And so you will be the person coming out to see them, perhaps, correct? Okay. So what does the person need to have with them when you come and do the assessment with them?
Okay, so you have to have identification for your loved one. You have to have your dementia diagnosis. You have to have a letter. You have to have a medication list. And then you have to have a copy of the Medicare card.
Mhm.
And anyone that is interested, I can send, and I typically send out an introduction email to you, and it has different attachments to it, letting you know when the day is that we will have our meeting and the necessary paperwork you will need to have once I arrive. Oftentimes, people will upload them, send them to me in advance so that we can go ahead and get past that point once I get to the home, which is perfectly fine. Um, that's one less step that we have to do when I get there.
Yeah. Sounds good. There are, a lot of people with dementia have short attention spans. How long should we anticipate the assessment to be?
So actually, the assessment is pretty engaging, right? And it can range depending upon the person that's being interviewed. It can range anywhere from 15 minutes, 30, 5 minutes. It just depends. But I've noticed that it runs pretty quickly because, as we do know, you have some with short memory, and
Mhm.
so if I ask a question, they don't remember, then we move on to the next.
Got it. Well, that's helpful to know because I know, as a person is trying to decide if this is something for them and they know that somebody has to come into their home, they should probably prepare the person. Okay, we're going to have to sit here for a little while and answer some of these questions. So thanks for sharing that. There's another question. So the big, beautiful bill from Trump isn't affecting this program?
Not to my knowledge at this point. And I just had 3 people approved just this past week.
Okay.
So, as far as I'm aware, as far as I know, nothing has happened as of now.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, I'm so glad to hear about this information about the guide program. If you are watching or listening and you have a question or a comment, you can put it in the chat and we will answer it. But just to recap, can you give us the specific things that people should know if they are interested in the guide program through Medicare, what they need to know in advance.
So clarify that one more time.
So we just running back through the requirements.
Okay.
They have to have moderate to severe dementia, right?
That is correct. They have to have moderate to severe dementia. They have to have a dementia diagnosis, and it has to be a letter, right? You have to have traditional Medicare as your primary insurance, A and B. Okay, so don't forget both A and B. And the individual cannot reside in a nursing home, and neither can they be a part of a hospice program or a PACE program, adult day center. Okay, and then you can be living in a home, assisted living home as well, and independent living. So you can still apply for this benefit, although you are in assisted living or independent living.
Got it. And if we are interested and we live in the DMV, really important question. Is this program just in this area or is it nationwide?
No, the program is in 50 states. So for any of you that that are in another state that's not in the DMV, if you go to carepatrol.com and you enter the zip code where your loved one lives, you will have an owner that will show up on your screen, and that is who you would reach out to. That person would let you know whether or not they are involved in the guide program, and most of us are. And even if they're not, there is a website that you can be provided. You can reach out to me through my email, and I can provide you that information. And you can still apply even if you can't get through the program with the Care Patrol owner.
Okay, that's wonderful. So if you are not in the DMV area, you can still get access to the guide program by going to carepatrol.com and putting in your zip code. And then somebody can, or it will tell you a person who's in your area that can possibly come out and do this assessment. Is that right?
So it'll be a person who would reach out to you. There is a box where you can put why you're reaching out to the Care Patrol, and then you can put that you're interested in the guide program, and then someone should reach out to you. So then that way that owner knows, you know, it's not for seeking, you know, assisted living services, and then they know exactly how to move from that point on, how to proceed.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so moderate to severe dementia is a requirement for the guide program. You have to either be in your house or be in an assisted living facility. Is that right?
Yes.
And let's see, the person has to have traditional Medicare Parts A and B.
That is correct.
And you have to have a dementia diagnosis.
Yes.
That
pretty much is it in a nutshell.
Okay. Okay, so if you meet those 4 requirements and you are interested, please go to carepatrol.com. If you want to contact Miss Glow in person.
Well, you can reach me at 540-628-5891, or you can reach me by email, gfranklin@carepatrol.com. Email me, text me. I'm always here and I'm always available.
And she's very responsive.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I thank you so much for sharing all this information with us. And if you are interested in having more information about this, you can connect with Ms. Go directly. And we hope that something has been shared tonight that will confirm something you know, to challenge something you don't know, and give you the opportunity to share this information with someone else. So would you like to give us a final thought?
Well, my final thought is this. We all need some type of help.
Yes, we do.
You've just been given a lot of information, and I know it's a wealth of information, and there are things that you may forget. But even if it doesn't apply to you at this particular time, there may be someone that is going through something that you can share the information with, so that we can help, right? Because again, as we know, at this time, it's available. So let's just try to help everyone get ahead and try to get through this process as easily as possible.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much. Everybody have a wonderful October. Happy Physical Therapy Month. We want to recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month and Domestic Violence Month. We'll see you again in November. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you.